Hey guys, and welcome for another edition of Tutorial Grid. So we're back live editing, doing a bunch of stuff tonight. We're pretty much picking up on what we did last night, which was we used the roto tool to roto out our front and foreground dude here. And then we also did a few things, and now to tell you the truth, what I did last night didn't work. So I went in a little bit earlier today and got a roto that was going to work for what we needed it for, and did a few things differently. So yeah, and I'll be explaining all that stuff here in just a minute, but first, make sure to go ahead and check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/Avid Productions 479. Also, check us out on Twitter at twitter.com/tutorialgrid and our website, avidproductions479.com. This is brought to you by the Black Mariachi. Also, this is brought to you by SiteGround. Make sure to check out siteground.com for all your web hosting needs. There is a link in the description below. So make sure to check that out if you're needing a new portfolio, if you're needing websites, and all that fun, awesome stuff that most people enjoy needing or believing that they need. Okay, so what we're doing today, or tonight, is something that should be fairly simple. We're going to go through a couple of different ways of doing these things. But what we're going to do is I'll show you what I did today to kind of fix the stuff that I did last night. I'm going to have to mask a little bit today just because I know I did some errors on some of these feathers and stuff. So there are going to be a few things that I will have to do. But if you want, this is what our mask looks like. It's very clean. You've got the hair right up here, very clean driven. It's a very, very good mask. And it's going to work for... I have the hiccups today, sorry. I ate a bunch of cheese right before I got on. Jesus Christ, I should stop doing that. Anyway, but this roto is going to work just fine for what we're going to do. So we've got our guys cut out. We've got this thing cut out. So first, what I'll show you what I did is in our front compilation here. So I was having some trouble rendering a lot of this stuff, and it's because I didn't bake my roto into my foreground. So I was also having a lot of trouble getting my front guy to be really distinguished from my background. So my roto wasn't getting all the footage that it should have been getting. So basically what I did was I took a background layer and followed it or put it all the way down below. And I used this background layer as, let's see, yeah, I've already baked this, but I used the background layer with high exposure. That way I could get into all the nitty gritty detail that it wasn't able to see. And that's my fault from yesterday. So I tried to do it through all that black and all the brown, and it did good. It did good, but it was not good enough. Like, it was very, very touchy, very chattery, and you could tell something was going on with the footage. So I had to fix that. There was no ifs, ands, or buts to fix that. So I tried to do that before I got here. So what I did was did the exposure, re-rotoed everything out. I took a little bit more time in going around my mask than I did the first time. So I really tried to pay attention to the detail like I should have, as well as whenever I got finished with it, the biggest problem with doing it this way is the fact whenever you're done with it, if you turn off your exposure and it's going to try to re-roto everything you just did, because now it's no longer seeing this as a way of like saying, hey, these pixels are gone and now I can't see them. So what I had to do was I had to bake the roto. So I took it, and after it was completed, I hit this little freeze button, and that froze every single thing that I did in time with the roto brush and the refine edge tool, and it was able to get me to where I am now, which is with this roto right here. So I've already exposed it just a little bit to kind of see where I was going with that. Okay, so it's pretty clean. It's going to work for what I need it for. Basically, we're just going to be shooting a big old light out of here. We're going to put some particles in the scene, really composite it, color correct it, and make it look good. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's go ahead and start doing what I was doing earlier today, which was I took what I did after I rotated it all out. I had to render it because even if you do the freeze frame with the roto brush tool, it still takes quite a while to render. So I went ahead and rendered out a ping sequence. That way I can just drop it in there and it's going to change with me rather than wait and wait and wait for it to render every single frickin' frame. So I exported it out as a PNG sequence. And then, so in this scene, to kind of catch you up with how this is supposed to look. So we have this pyramid. It's a pyramid of light. There's going to be light shining up through the top of this thing. There's also, in theory, there's a light source right behind the pyramid. There's a light source in the pyramid. There's a light source around the pyramid that shines through the pyramid. There's also a lightning bolt. Well, it's not lightning, but there's an energy source that flows all the way around this pyramid from crystal to crystal to crystal. So we're definitely looking at a bunch of different sources of light. So we're going to have to kind of mimic that in a way in this. So I'm trying in the front hand here. So I've duplicated this layer and I've kind of started adding the exposure because I know my light source needs to be very, very bright. So I'm going to change this light source, but I only want it to change in a couple of different places just because I know the light source here is going to be really, really hot and the light source here isn't going to be as hot. So I'm going to kind of play with these settings to get a different look. That's going to be pretty bright. And I have it feathered out right through here. So you see it gets brighter and then there's going to be a dark spot just because there's no light on this side of him. It's mostly coming out from his right. So I think this is going to work out pretty well. So the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start to create the light source. So I've been kind of experimenting with a few different ways of doing this. And I think one of the better ways is creating a black solid. So we'll go and create a new black solid. And I'm going to try to call this light source. I'm going to type in fractal noise. I see I've got a viewer. Hello, welcome to the stream. Hope you enjoy it. And we'll just go ahead and bring that down on top of our light source. And so I want this to move. So I'm going to go ahead and move it to my front frame here. And I'm going to go ahead and click the evolution. And I'll just make sure this is at 2 revolutions. So looking back at that. And I think that's going to move fast enough. Yeah, it's going to move fast enough. Okay. So I've got that. And I'm just going to kind of play around with the settings here. Make sure I can get them working all right. All right, basic, dynamic. Now I'm going to want something that looks fairly movable because this is going to be our, what do they call that? Our driver of this light. So we're just going to kind of mess around with it. That might work, actually. Yeah, that might work here. Turn the brightness down. Contrast up. Now I only want a few things on here. All right. Come on. Nope. I think that's going to do pretty well right about there. So I've got a bunch of noise there. And let's see how this correlates. Or animates, rather. Come on. You can do it. All right, I think that's going to look... It almost looks like someone's wadding up a bunch of tinfoil. Yeah, that's going to be fine right there. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to move this underneath my first cavern here. And I might actually, well, that's going to be that. I also already masked out my pyramid here. So now I've got this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mask out around this right here on my light source layer. So make sure my light source layer is clicked there. And I'm going to go ahead and mask out this. Okay. And I'm going to go to layer, pre-compose this layer, move all attributes into new composition, and hit OK. So now that makes everything look as if that is just one separate layer, but it's now a full screen layer. Okay. So now I'm going to type in shine from trap code. Pull that down, and this is going to be the first of many things I'm going to try, because I'm not 100% sure whether or not this is going to work, which actually looks like it might work. Okay, let's see here. Go from normal, add. Let's boost this light here. Move that down. Now I might want to just go ahead and mask all of this out. Maybe. Let's go back into this and see if I can maybe change some things. That might make it a little easier to work with. Not sure if that's going to work very well, but we're going to try it. Okay, there's that. Try to boost the light some. Change ray length. No. Need a bunch of light. Lots of light. And hell, I might need to change a couple of things in this. Which, I mean, technically this needs to be white anyway. Let's see here. Let's do... First, let's change the color here. Let's do... I just want it to be white for now. Just white. Don't need anything special, actually. Let's make it more of like a really light teal. That might actually make it look quite a bit better there. Okay. And let's go back into our light source here, and let's change how bright our layer is. That's going to change it quite a bit. All right, that was a little too much. Let's go and change the brightness down just a bit more. Okay, and let's turn down the boost light just so we don't completely wash out our footage. Come on, there we go. All right, that's looking pretty good. And you can see our feather is working exactly how it's supposed to be. We've got things going right behind it, and nothing's getting extruded. It's looking really good. All right. Okay, now I might want to layer, new, solid. Let's make this into a white solid. Okay. Okay there. And I'm going to, so our end point is about right there. So I want right through here, up, and we'll do here, here, and here. And go hit F for feather. Feather this out quite a bit. And turn it down. Whoops. Whoops. Grr. Go. Put that down here a bit. All right, T. Make sure this is set to something different. Let's try linear dodge, which it doesn't really do a whole lot. Classic color dodge. Yeah, no. Okay, well, let's... That does too much. Too much. Screen's gonna do not enough. Let's try this again. Linear dodge. Yeah, no. Well, I guess that's just gonna have to do. Well, maybe. Let's try that. And just bring it down a ton. Not enough. That actually I think might work right there. Well, yeah, I think that's what I'm going to have to do. So I'm going to animate this. So I'll hit on our opacity here, click the alternate stopwatch, and try wiggle. Let's do 520 just to get it to gyrate a little bit. And let's turn this on to the third just so it's going to render a little quicker. Cool. That's looking good. Looking real good. Hey, Victor. Welcome to the stream. If you sent a message yesterday, it didn't show up anywhere. Hey, Victor, yeah, I did send you a message. It should be in your YouTube Messenger. So I believe if you go to Community in your Creator Studio dashboard and hit Messages, it should be in there. Cool. This is looking good. Looking real good, except for that right there. But I think I can fix that. Cool. That looks really good. I'm actually really happy with that. That's looking pretty nice. I've got a lot of white going on. Let me see what happens if I color correct my source, though. I wonder if that's going to help things. So let's go to curves. I'm sure that'll help everything because my footage is quite yellow. Turn that up. Turn my red down. All right, and copy that. And move that here. And copy that. Move that here. Copy this. Move that there. That's looking better. We got this extra white light. Cool. Okay. So I'm also, I see, let's do here. You've got that dude going. I'm going to add one more ellipse here. I don't know why that's not working. Oh, that's why. Hey, oh. One more ellipse right there. And hit F and feather this sucker out here. Just a little bit. Maybe pull this down a bit. Bring it down some more. Just so I can really get a good idea. That needs to be more. Don't like the way that one looks. It looks just too, not enough. About right there. We want just enough definition between the two light sources. That's going to make it look somewhat real. All right. Cool. Awesome. So we also got my cool, what is this? Optical flare. So we'll go ahead and we're going to have to change some of the intensity on this. Oh, God, that's intense. All right, turn that back to normal. Just down a bit. Take it to add, which we've got a lot of stuff going, which I might not want it to be white anymore, which I believe in the shots before it was not white. So I'm going to change the saturation of this dude and pull this down to hue and saturation. Pull this in and colorize. Saturate that. Okay, there's that. Pull this back up to normal real quick. Holy crap. Let's go to Effects Browser. We don't need that. I just, well, actually, that might work. Let me try. Whoops. Don't want that. Go over here. Doesn't need to be blood red. It needs to be about like that. And change the hue. There we go. Let's try that. That didn't really do a whole lot, did it? Might have to try a different type of flare in this, or we might just not have to do a flare at all, because that's not doing a whole lot. Nice. Well, did you get the thing I sent you? Please tell me you know what that line is from. Did you get that thing I sent you? If you can comment on that and figure out where that that little phrase came from. It's a cartoon. There's a hint. It's a cartoon, and it's one of my favorite cartoons. Let's do that. Okay, apply. All right. There's that. I thought I had already animated this sucker. I was quite sure I did. Anyway, where are you? Where are you? Light source built in. Yeah, I totally did animate it, but for some reason it turned it off. So go ahead and do this. Push it there. Push it there. Push it there. Push it there. Alright, I need to change this again. Whoops. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and animate this. Okay, cool. So I've got that. So let's see how this looks like so far. All right. Got that going on. So the next thing that I think I'm going to do, let's see here. Take out a little more of that. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I know that this has a particle system to it. So I'm going to go ahead and add the particles moving upwards. So we'll go layer new, solid, make this black because we like black, and trap code. Whoops, I need to do particular. Particular. Drag that sucker down. All right, so this is already technically supposed to be emitting particles. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that stream up and push this out and make this massive. So we'll go to emitter point. We'll change this into a box, and emitter size, stupid massive. I want to make it at least as big as the screen, and I'm going to change my emitter point to down below. So I technically don't want to see them, but I'm just going to leave it right here for now. Turn up my particles per second. I'm also going to emitter size in Z space. I'm going to make that quite large because whenever I add a what is that? And before I even get too crazy in it, that actually looks pretty good. Which this needs to be technically all completely already on the screen. So gotta make sure that's going on. All right, and I'm gonna go ahead and add my camera now. So layer new camera. Okay, that way this is going to give this quite a bit more depth. So if a particle decides it wants to be close to my camera, it can. Okay, so that means I'm going to change my Z depth quite a bit because I want particles to be right in the face of the camera. I'm also going to maybe change some of the air resistance a bit, just so it'll give it just that much more of an oomph. So air resistance up just a tad bit. Let's see what that looks like there. All right, I'm going to turn this back up a little bit more just so all of these particles are already on screen. All right, there's that. I also, this is probably going to help me out just a bit here. In my particle setting, I'm going to change the life to, I'm going to just put 10 seconds on here just in case. So that's going to help with that just a bit. Cool. Cool. All right, so another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to change my spin factor just a little bit. So spin amplitude, I want them to move around. Change that just a bit. All right, frequency, maybe move that around just a little. Because I want it to be as if these things are just kind of floating up in space. Let's see here. Yes, I got that thing you sent me, thanks, but no, I wasn't familiar with the quote before Googling it. Only ever watched a couple of episodes. I'm obsessed with Rick and Morty lately. Awesome. I haven't watched all the prior streams yet, so my apologies if it hasn't been covered already, but where does color grading fit in your workflow timeline, if at all? Did you do it already? I kind of have done a little bit of color correction just so I could kind of see how my composite is doing. So I've got color correction on all my main layers, just a tad. And I can use a bit more of it because my rocks are a little red. So actually I'll probably go ahead and do that now. So I'm going to take the red out of the rocks just a little bit. In my workflow, usually whenever I'm doing a full composition, I kind of like to color correct as I go because I really like seeing the effect work in, you know, the way that, like I want to see the effect as it goes along rather than wait until the full effect is finished. So that's probably a my bad situation. Most people that I know, whenever they do the VFX, they'll do all the effects and then they'll go ahead and go back in and color correct. There's a bunch of different workflows you can do, but me personally, I like color correcting as I go because I have a pretty powerful computer, so it's able to handle it pretty well. Like I'm running like a ton of different effects. I mean, I've got exposure, curves, particular. I've got shine. I've got a bunch of stuff still running, and it's still being able to render this thing like a beast. It's just sometimes whenever Roto Brush comes along, it's just like, you son of a bitch, not gonna work for me. All right, so I've got that going now. No. Go back to my. I need to start naming this stuff. What is this? Optical flare. And this is going to be particular. That's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to go ahead and change my particle around a little bit. I'm going to just change it to where they're slightly bigger than normal. So about an 8 size random. I'm going to kind of change around because all my particles are going to be just slightly different size. I'm also going to change my mode to additive mode. Well, maybe not. That actually looks a lot better without that. Maybe something else. Linear dodge. Maybe. No, that looks dumb. All right, let's not do that. Let's do opacity random. See how that looks. Actually, I really like that a lot. That adds a new perspective on things. Let's try that. That's it's not too bad. Yeah, that's not too bad. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you like better? Do you like it with the add? Normal? Me, I'm kind of digging the normal. I don't know. You know, Vic, a good show that I've been watching is I don't know if you're into like mystery and all that stuff. I've been really watching a lot of Sherlock. That's kind of been my thing. Plus the VFX in Sherlock are just absolutely mesmerizing, so that helps things out quite a bit. All right. I think we can keep it at that. I think I'm going to call it there. I think that's looking pretty good. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change my visibility. This way, I can put certain things on top and certain things on bottom. So I'm going to mess around with this. I can't remember exactly which ones go where. All right, far vanish right there. Okay, copy this. Actually, I just go ahead and copy this layer, so duplicate that layer. So particle 2 is going to be my bigger particles. I'm going to bring this down. I'm going to put it underneath. Right? I'm doing this right? All right, so just that. Do that right? I don't think I'm doing that right. Am I doing that right? Probably not. Which one is this? I've got to remember. All right, let's turn this off real quick. I forget. Far vanish, start, far, fade, far vanish, near vanish. Is it the near vanish? I believe it is the near vanish. Okay, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and back up quite a bit before I even did that. All right, so particular 2, turn that off. I want this to be on the bottom. So if I want that on the bottom, I want to turn those off. So those are going to be my particles that are going to be on the top or on the bottom. All right, so this is my bottom. Right there. Put this on the bottom here. And then put this on top. And put far vanish. I did that wrong again. Did it wrong again. Up. Alright. Far vanish. Alright. Near vanish. Far vanish. Alright. Don't want that. I just want these. And closer. There we go. Okay. And I also made a mistake. And I need to pull this down in my X, my Y factor. That way they start off screen. So 2448. This down to 2448. So now I've got particles going in front of and behind my dude here. All right, so I'm going to need to move these up, though. Move these up to where they are on frame the entire time. Move them out. Cool. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and add some motion blur and see what this looks like through here. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, I think I'm only going to do one more thing, and which is going to be, I guess, the ending. I know we still got some green here, which technically this shot is going to be zoomed in so far that that isn't even going to be visible. So I'm not going to worry about that. Funny enough, these blocks are actually made out of styrofoam. They did a great job at painting and texturing. I actually got to see the entire process get done. They did it in less than 24 hours. Painted and blocked out every single one of these things. They did a freaking fantastic job. All right, done. M for mask and subtract. And now I'm going to have a big old blank spot right there. And let's do... I believe I have a cave somewhere that I can use, but I'm going to take my mask, hit F, feather just a little bit. It doesn't look too awful horrible. Cool. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to add some overlays from our new and upcoming package, Light Refractions package. If I can find the ones that I'm using down here, I believe it's this guy, which that should be available. Well, really, whenever I can actually get those taken care of. All right, there's that one. I'm not a fan of that one. Let's do maybe this one. I have not saved in a while. I need to save before anything awful happens. Okay. Let's see here. That's good there. Go ahead and go through here, and we'll turn on this. Put that above our shape layer. Oh man, I forgot those are only 1080p that I've got there. So I'm going to look for my 4K package. All right, what do I got here? Okay, I'm just off screen, so I'm looking for my 4K light refractions. I can never remember where I put all this stuff. I've got literally like 32 terabytes of storage on this thing, and I can never remember where exactly I put a certain file. Oh, there we go. No, those aren't it. Crap. And looking. Nope, nope. There we go. Light leaks finished. Yes. Crap. It's the old ones. Let's do this. All right, fast overlay. Let's see what you look like. That's going to look pretty. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll do that. All right. So we'll go ahead and bring this on top of our shape layer here. And we will turn it into, yes, hue. That's exactly what I wanted. Turn it into a screen. So whenever we play it back, I'm going to kind of align this since it's already going. Let's do it about right there. It's looking good. And there's just not enough of that. Let's see if we can align this a little bit better. Or maybe screen's just not doing enough. I don't like doing so much adding. I mean, it looks good, but then we wash out this whole thing. Well, what if, instead of doing that, let's do, unmults by No Light Factory. That's better. Cool. All right. So I'll turn that off real quick. Start this about right there. Turn it back on. Sweet. All right. Now I've got a cave in the background here somewhere. I've got some cave footage. And we should be just about done for the night. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that the stream doesn't die off before I get finished like it has in the past. But let's go ahead and look for the rest of this stuff. No. Stock cave. There we go. Pull this back down here. There we go. We've got a stock cave right here. And let's go ahead and color correct that baby. Curves. All right. Curves right here. Let's go blue. Turn up the blue. Take out the red. Take Pick out some blue. And let's go to exposure. Well, no, I can probably do this in curves. Do that. Bring in some green. Just a little bit of green there. Desaturate just a tad bit. About right there. Cool. And we'll also Gaussian blur this. Gaussian blur. And I'll probably go to RGB. Bring this up quite a bit. Cool. And there we have it. We've got our light coming out of the top of our pyramid. We've got a bunch of particles going on. And we've got our composited shot. Cool. Well, I think I am done for the night. That's okay. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and do my spiel here. So I think this is going to be good for tonight. And I'm pretty sure this is actually going to be our composite footage just because we've kind of white balanced everything out. We've added a little bit of blue. We did a bunch of stuff here. So I'm going to go ahead and open the floor for questions over really anything, whatever, if it's over this or if it's over a personal project or whatever. So I believe we have a question already from Victor. And it is, how does unmult work? Basically, unmult it's very, very similar to screen, except it takes most of your anything that is pure black and all the gray levels and makes them opaque. So it takes the gradients for its darkest value and makes it opaque based on those gradient levels without adding any light or dark levels. So I think that's the best way of explaining that. It's probably not the most perfect way, but that's kind of how I see how it works, because there's nothing else. It's basically like changing it into a blending mode, except it's not adding a light or subtracting anything. So I think that's the best way I can explain it. But I mean, if I came into a crunch, like all my blending levels or my blending modes weren't working the way I wanted them to, so I was like, hey, let's do unmult, and did it, and it worked pretty well. One man band, welcome to the show. Yeah, you're just a little bit late, buddy, but it's okay. If you got questions, you can totally. Huh. Weird. So, like, apparently my stream likes to die at about 58 minutes consistently. So, it is kind of very odd. But yeah, we resumed the stream here, so we're happy and healthy. Okay, so I'm just about to get done here. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and leave them in the comments, or you can leave any comments on any of the videos, and I'm going to get back to them as soon as I can. Or you can check me out tonight. I'm going to be back Monday through Friday, the show is. So if you have friends, bring them along, share, make sure to subscribe to the videos and all that stuff because we have a good time. I'd like to help everybody out as much as I possibly can. And let's make this community something awesome. So make sure to share and, do all that stuff. Also, we have a cool little fan funding button if you want to give us a buck or two. Cool. So I'm done for the night. I will see you guys tomorrow. I will see you.